Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're focusing on a small but mighty element of your home's exterior, your front door. So if you're watching this at the time of recording, it's starting to cool down a bit, which, believe it or not, is probably the perfect time to paint your front door. And a well-chosen paint color for your front door or your client's front door can instantly transform it and just create an amazing looking house exterior. So let's explore some general paint colors for your front door, and I'll break it down into different categories for you. If you want something that's a little more classic, timeless, clean, minimal, the first choice I would say is black. Black is just a classic go-to elegant choice that adds just a touch of sophistication and simplicity. Oftentimes black also works really well on things like garage doors, so you can kind of keep them the same if you want that really clean, streamlined look. Just be aware when you're picking a black paint color for the outside, you want to make sure you're getting the right black that isn't going to look too cool leaning, because I do find that a lot of black paints, when used outside with the sun hitting it, they get a bit bluey, and not a lot of people like that. So this is one that I tend to use on a lot of my exterior projects, so you can test this one out before you use it. Another pretty easy option would be white. This is kind of the opposite of black, where it's going to have that same sort of clean aesthetic, although it's going to be much brighter. This is a less popular option for me, mainly because of the fact that white does need a lot of upkeep. It might look really clean and crisp to begin with, which creates a very bright and welcoming entrance, but as it starts to get some wear and tear, gets a bit dirtier, gets a bit scuffed, you'll see all of those imperfections and you'll have to kind of maintain it. But it can be a nice look if you do take good care of your front door and your guests as well. I mean, your guests taking care of your door, not you taking care of your guests. Another option would be kind of a middle ground between the two, and that's a dark gray. So you don't necessarily need to go all the way to charcoal, but kind of a mid-tony slate gray. I think this is a modern and versatile choice that complements both traditional and contemporary homes, and it's kind of the best of both worlds. So you're not super dark and deep with the black, but also not too white where it's going to show all the smudges and all the scuffs and spider webs and things like that. I think it's going to do the best job at camouflaging things you don't want to see on your door, but there is a lot more options within that gray spectrum. So you'll have to do probably a little more digging and diving before you pick the right gray for you. Okay, so those were the neutral colors. What about some bold and vibrant choices? I do think that your front door is a perfect opportunity to have an accent color on your house exterior. First choice I would say would be red, which is a bold and energetic color that can really add a nice pop to your home. And a fun little fact, my subscribers might have heard me talk about this before, but back in Scotland, in my wife's homeland, if you paint your front door red, it signifies that you've paid off your mortgage. So if you have, congrats. If you haven't, you can pretend that you did. The next up would be blue, which is a calming and inviting color that creates this sense of peace and tranquility. It's a little more nonchalant than red. Not a color choice you see as often. Obviously, there's so many different blues out there, whether you can go with more shaded blues that are closer to navy or more toned down, airy gray blues. There's quite a few options there. Similarly, you can go with green as another choice, which is kind of a nice connection to nature, which hopefully your front door is surrounded by. If you have, nice landscaping, some lush trees and plant life, the green will fit in quite nicely, which I think is a cool touch. Still an accent color in terms of what you're seeing on the house, but also fits with its surroundings in a nice way. These next two are going to be the most fun colors in my mind, and they're also great choices as accent colors on your porch, like if you wanted to get a fun Muskoka chair or something in one of these colors. So we have turquoise as an option, which is a beautiful combination of blue and green, but taken to this light, airy sort of zone, which I think is beautiful. Classic choice. And then, of course, yellow, like a wonderful sunny yellow, super vibrant choice, extremely fun. I personally like it on lighter homes, just so you don't have this big contrast of dark and bright yellow, but I've seen it work in a lot of different cases. And if you're really into IKEA, yellow door, blue house. So whenever you're choosing a front door color, consider your home's exterior as a whole. Think of the whole picture, the main body, all the trim work, your shutters, and also your roof. A lot of people do neglect the color of their roof, so don't do that. Choose a door color that complements the overall color palette. So if your home is painted a neutral color, then I think it's a good opportunity for you to have a bold door color to add a pop of interest, and also think about color temperature. So in my neck of the woods, a lot of the homes surrounding me, they do have shingled roofs, and they all have different colorations. Some are a little gray, blue leaning, others are more brown and warm and earthy. So the easiest thing to do is find something within that that color temperature range at least, because normally the roof is going to go with the main body of the home, assuming it's stock and you haven't painted it yourself. If you stick with the same color temperatures, it'll be a little more cohesive, or you can go purposely complementary and kind of go a little more opposite to have that front door pop even more. Also, think about your neighborhood. Consider the overall style of the houses around you when you're choosing a door color. A vibrant color might stand out a bit too much in a more traditional neighborhood that's a little more cookie cutter, but if that's exactly what you want to do, then go for it. And another thing is consider the time of day. The color of your door is going to look different in different lighting conditions. So as the sun rises and sets, it might seem different. So what I would do is I would test paint samples and just observe it at different times throughout the day to see how the colors appear, to make sure it meshes with you in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. And lastly, don't be afraid to experiment. Painting your front door is a relatively low cost and fairly low risk way to experiment with color. And it's a color that you can share with all your neighbors, which is kind of fun too. It's a very public display of your creativity. Choosing the right paint color for your front door can significantly enhance your home's curb appeal. So by considering classic and timeless options, but also the bold and vibrant and complementary shades, you can find the perfect color to make a statement in your home. What's your favorite front door color? Any of the ones I mentioned, or do you have some other options that I haven't talked about? Share your thoughts and ideas in that comment section below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more home improvement inspo.